Alright, this video, we got us an old Crosley here. It's Crosley Fiver, it's called. 5-tube radio. The box is in reasonable condition. It's got a few little places where the veneer is loose, but it's all there, so that makes it very easy to repair. The top, it's hardwood. This is not veneer, so this is easy to fix. That can be just glued, put back on there, no problem at all. The chassis, pretty, well, it's dirty, but hadn't been plugged in for a long time. That's the original cord, that old twisted cord there. I don't think this thing's been plugged in for probably, oh, good grief. Come on, baby. Come on. You want to supervise? Yes. This is my supervisor. Yes, this is my little supervisor. Say hello to everybody. Yes. Okay, so what we'll do is pull the chassis out and clean it up. And the transformer does not look original, but it could be. I haven't seen one hanging up in the air like that. Usually they have them sitting down in. Okay, so first, that cord. Okay, that's nice. Okay, this goes in the junk, and that we save. Supervisor just took off. Go chase lizards. Let's go. Not. Okay, to get tight knobs off of the radio, you take a piece of rag and you go behind the knob. Let me just go ahead and put it like this, okay? If we get it behind the knob, got to. Put it behind the knob like that, okay? And then you try to keep control of it, of course. Oh boy. Now, where the heck that went? It's down there somewhere. Okay. Alright. These are relatively collectible little radios. They're every radio collection, if you're serious, should have a Crosley Fiver in it. Looks pretty clean. Hasn't been worked on. It's all original. Transformer is original. Alright, that gets the chassis out and stuff. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll pull everything off of it, and we'll sandblast the entire chassis to clean it up, and then spray it with lacquer, clear lacquer, make it look real pretty. This one, the cap is loose on the top, so I got to hold down on the cap. Okay, we'll re-glue that cap on there. It's easy to do with some super glue. Okay, we're all set up to do the sandblasting. We're not as close to the radio as it looks. The zoom on the camera is being used so we don't get a lot of sand all over the camera. you can see how nice that's made the chassis look. I mean, it just completely takes that old crud off of there, leaves it really clean. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the air hose and we're going to blow all the sand off of it. We don't want any sand in the IF cans, in the tuning condenser. The tuning condenser's underneath on this one, so we didn't get it in there. Now, never, under any circumstances, blow air at the speaker cone. You'll rip it to shreds. All right, and the underneath. Okay, that gets it all cleaned up. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to paint the transformer, and then we're going to spray the whole chassis with clear lacquer. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the chassis around where we're going to spray, so we can keep the chassis nice and chassis colored. All right. Keep the lacquer from getting into the tube sockets, we take washers. We just get washers that are the right size to fit over the tube sockets. Let's see, those two, I don't want lacquer down in at all, so I'm going to use just 3 here, and I'm going to tape those others. We don't want that lacquer to get down into those shield sockets around those to make sure they don't get any lacquer in them. Okay, so we just got those, good move, got those to where they're masked off. Okay, let me get these washers back in place here. And we just take the clear lacquer and we blast it. Now we've got some terminals here for the antenna and ground. I didn't sandblast the speaker because I didn't want to take a chance of having that sand get in there and blow that cone out of there. So the speaker's going to be a little bit dirtier than the rest of the radio. It isn't going to matter. It's going to look good anyway. Okay, now to do capacitors, we got to cut them out of there. These paper capacitors are no doubt leaking like a sieve. Now these are, when you see these capacitors that have this metal band around them, what it means is that there are 2 capacitors inside there with the center connected to the band. So this one is one capacitor, that's another capacitor, and the band is the common, and the 2 wires on the ends are the capacitor. And all of these are that capacitor. They do that way to save space. Okay. Now, what I usually do on these is I don't cut the wires off the terminal. I cut just the terminal like so. That way the wires stay connected. I know right where they go, and I'll just put one capacitor there and one capacitor there, and that's got it. Now I got to remember which side is which to tell which values they are. What you'll notice, if you can see here, we have two values. That means the capacitor on this side is 0.03 microfarads, and the capacitor on this side is 0.006 microfarads. So we've got to keep that in mind when we get it. We're going to put the 006 from here to ground, and the 003 from here to over here, or 0.03 I mean. Alright, let me find some capacitors. I go ahead and I write on here the date that I've changed it. That way anybody coming in here later is not going to think that, oh, these are old 1940s capacitors and, well, you know, bad ones, and they'll leave them in here. All right, very good. Okay. All right, now, those are the three fairly easy ones. Okay, we got two more that are fairly easy. All right, we got another one that's a double. So I'm going to remember that the large side, the long side, is on the right and the short one's on the left, because these are two different value capacitors, and we want to make sure we don't get it mixed up, okay? Do the same thing. I'm just going to cut that. And snap that. Okay. Two times 0.02. Okay, same thing as the other one. All right, let me see if I can. Okay, 2 times 0.1. Okay. Are in places that just don't make any difference. Replace, but the cathode bypass stuff like that, you don't have to worry. But AGC capacitors, they have to be completely no leakage at all. Yeah, if you got this one is, all right, we got a 0.03. That was in there like that. And a 001. Okay. That looks good. The soldering gun, you can do this pretty easy. Okay, the fuse holder, I'm just going to stick right here. You use a slow blow fuse on these, a delay fuse, so that the surge from the transformer in the filter capacitor is not going to blow it prematurely. Okay. Not there so that it can't be yanked out of there. want to glue these wires that are crumbly here. I'm just taking this plastic glue and this crumbly wire. I'm just going ahead and oh, is that ever bad stuff? Turns into crumbly stuff. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do, this speaker cone is very brittle. It's got a couple little cracks in it and things. Now what we do to restore a cone, we use contact cement. This is the oil type contact cement. Don't use the water type. The water based is politically correct, but it does not have the same characteristics. It's nowhere near as good of a material. So use the original oil based contact cement. Okay, just take a brush and we're just going to completely coat the speaker cone with the contact cement. Contact cement, when it hardens or dries, remains flexible. And this is what you want for the cone. You want to glue the fibers of the cone together, but you don't want to have it brittle. Don't get it down inside the inside of the speaker. You glue that and you throw it away. It's done. Game over for the speaker. So make sure. Okay, the crack is together. Now we've got to let that dry before we mess with it. Take it about maybe an hour. Lock it. Okay. Right. That's good. That's good. Wow, this stuff's baked on there. Okay, that looks good. That looks real nice. Well, look how pretty that is. I mean, there's just nothing wrong. That wire's a little crappy looking, but it's solid. You know, it's all glued. There's no way it's going to short or anything. It's not going to disintegrate anymore. All right, let's plug her in. Okay, and turn it on. Okay, we've got nothing whatsoever coming through the radio. Zilch. Absolutely nothing. Okay, could be that the volume is all the way... No, it can't be. I don't know why. Well, let's look at the oscillator first and see if it's going. It sure is. Bring the scope near here and the oscillator is going. It's like it's trying to oscillate. It oscillates good on the broadcast band, but the shortwave band, which goes from 1.6 to 3.5, that's not got much on it. It's not going to be really worth not going to be worth really working on it. Let's see if we can get it to it's like it's the oh shit. Didn't do very good on that. There, I get all that. It's that electrolytic that has the corroded wire. That is all right, so what we're doing, I'm measuring on the screen pin 3, that's 1, 2, 3, and we get nothing. Okay, 2 is the plate. You can see we get voltage on the plate. The screen has nothing. Alright, so we trace that wire that goes to the screen. Okay, it's that black wire there. It goes over, and that's to this bleeder resistor here. Voltage divider. Okay, this end is the ground end. We got nothing. This end is the B+. See, we got B+ on that end. Here, nothing. What that means is this section of the bleeder resistor, the divider resistor, is burned out. Alright? So what we have to do is put a variable resistor in there and see what value we need. Here. Okay, now, how much do we get? Well, that's good. Alright, here's a 10K. We'll try it, see what happens. We want the voltage to be about 150 volts. We're getting 200 and something. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I can go and get the schematic, find the schematic somewhere. Okay, so we need to find us a 4.7K resistor to stick in there. Resolder it, and it's on there. Okay. It was just a screwed up tube. Okay, so that works good. Now, we're still not getting any noise out of the thing. When you plug a tube in, it should be stiff. You should feel it. Pinch the pins a little bit, or the socket connections a little bit. Now, all right, got caught. Okay. All right. Ooh. Well, that's a good one. All right, now I'll explain in a second here. All right, here's how I got caught. All right, this is the capacitor that was in the in this point right here, this place over here, that had the 03 and a 001. All right, I had assumed that both of the capacitors went to ground. This one is different. Not all of these capacitors go to ground. You have to check each one of them. And in this case, we have the 001 from the plate of the detector tube to ground. Okay, that gets rid of the RF, that's bypass. And then from the plate of the 76, we have the coupling capacitor, which is the 03, over to the grid of the output tube. Now, what I had done is I had assumed that this was grounded here. So the 03 simply took the grid of the output tube and grounded it with a capacitor, which didn't put any signal to it.
Millones, así que así las cosas con los silencios. Đem cái college I y creo que en el I don't know what I'm talking about. At the end of all this, now it almost sounds like maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Now, the dial light is not working. Hey, just the difference of a connection of one capacitor, and it makes the difference between the thing working and not working. Pilot lamps. Okay, let's see. We need number 47. All right, that gets the chassis working. Now, next thing to do is the woodwork. All right, now here we have the box. Now, unfortunately, it turns out the front it's screwed on, and it is covered. The screws are covered by the veneer, so I can't get this top off to do any work on it. So I'm going to have to just go ahead and do it in place. So the first thing we have to do, we're going to glue all of the extraneous parts. Okay, we got to hold it together as well as down, so I'm going to go around here with a couple turns of this stretch cord here. That should do it. Okay, that'll hold it in. Now I'm going to take these . Okay, we're push together that way and push together that way. All right, we're going to go ahead and glue this one on as well. We can glue them all at once. There's a bungee cord here. That looks good. Okay, we'll just let all that harden. That takes care of the top. All right, this has been sitting for a couple hours. It is solid. We'll go ahead and see what's next. All right, that's the cover. That's good. Good and solid. Okay, now let's take care of this side first, the back. And all right. Fix that while we're doing it. We can do that. The original glue was that horse glue made out of horse hooves. All right, we'll let all that harden and we'll be ready. Okay, that thing's been sitting there for about 2 hours. Should be dry. Aha. Okay. There's our box. It's all glued back. We have no loose veneer anymore. See, the front is completely good. Okay, we've got to get that bezel off of there. Now, there's something I don't like about this radio. You can see how low the dial is to the ground. That apparently is the way it originally was. I would like it to be up just a little bit, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off these bottom original feet. I'm going to put about a 1-inch thick machined border around there to make it to where it sits up just a little bit higher. I think it'll look better if I do that. Force the issue. All right, we'll use the router to put a nice little edge on this, make it look good. Other one should be the same. Okay, one of them goes here, and then one of them goes here. All right, so let's mark the other one. And then there. Okay. This here. Alright. That can go there. Okay, put it just right. Even. Okay. One. Here. Alright, lead block. Okay, that'll hold everything in place. Let that glue dry. Okay, even. No, we'll just let that go ahead and dry. Boy, that looks good. That looks really good. We'll let that go ahead and harden. See, that's the base that we've got on there. And we'll take that and we'll, color it. It'll all look great. Looks really good. Okay. All right, this is time to harden. Look at how nice that is. See, that sits up down. Looks like it's more planned for. Before it looks, I mean, that thing was within 1/8 of an inch of sitting on the table, which just didn't look right. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is strip it down to bare wood. All right, I'm going to get this speaker grill cloth out of here. Okay, and we'll just put us a new piece of cloth on there, and that'll be good. I got plenty of this cloth. It's a common. That's in good shape. That's good. Usually you have to remake these. They're all rotten. Okay. Okay, we're going to take that off. I'll need a little screwdriver. All right, and we'll go ahead and polish that up. It'd be really nice looking. Okay, now we have to take this and completely strip it. We do it with the scrape method. This is a standard wood chisel, sharpened up, very sharp. And we just take it and drag it. Always go with the grain of the wood when you're doing this. This is a lot quicker than fooling around with solvent and stuff like that. I'm going to use 220 grit here. All right, that's pretty much it. one little place here where a piece of veneer is got a little looseness there. I'm going to go ahead and glue it. Okay. All right, we'll let that sit for a half an hour and harden, and then we'll be ready to stain it. Okay, we're ready to stain it. It's all smooth and glued and ready. So I've got special walnut, it's called. Min-wax, cheap stuff. I don't have any expensive. All right, let's go for it. It looks good. Now we're just doing the body right now. The trim we'll do as soon as this hardens up, dries up completely. We'll do the trim in a darker color. All right, that's it. Well, that looks really good. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a couple days. Okay, this thing has been drying overnight. So now what we're going to do is the trim. To do that, we're going to use brown leather dye. I'll just pour a little of it out into here, and we take our paintbrush and we just go like that. All right. All right. Next, we'll do the bottom trim. Okay, that looks extremely good. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we want to do the inside of these speaker louvers. I'm going to need a smaller brush for that. All right, got a nice little bitty brush here. And I'm going to go from the inside so that we don't slop it on the front panel. I can't get to it from the inside. If you don't have any leather dye, you can use printer ink. You get the refills for the printer ink, and that'll work good. It's just an absolutely dark black. And it works really good because it sticks to the wood very thoroughly. Wow. Boy, that looks really good. That looks really good. Okay. Now, we're going to let that dry. we're going to let it go overnight, and then we're going to go ahead and spray it with lacquer. Okay, next thing we got to do, get this bezel ready. You can see the darn thing is just, it's just really pretty looking. Now to do the bezel, we just take steel wool and we buff that sucker. And we're just getting that crap off of it. All that old corroded, darkened look off of there. Okay, see how shiny that's getting? Alright, the inside. Okay. That gets it down totally to shiny. Now on the original radio, it was this shiny when you got it at the store back in the 40s. But we want it to be a little bit more brassy look. So what we're going to do is we're going to stain it. Okay, what I have here, dark walnut stain. I'm just going to use a piece of felt. And we're just going to take that and we're going to put that on there. Let's see if I can do this without getting on my fingers, okay? Okay, look how beautiful that is. Alright, try again. I didn't screw it up that much. Alright, set it down without dropping it. Now, we're going to set that in the sun and let it dry good, and then we'll coat it with urethane lacquer, and that'll make it to where it's just beautiful. Okay, now, on the top here, what I want to do, I want to make this part here darker color than this part to make it look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take dark walnut and I'm going to go in there and fill that in, just color it in. I got dark walnut here. It's just plain old Minwax cheap stain. It's nothing expensive. I'm just going to take that and go in here and just darken that down to make it two tones. That's going to be very beautiful. Okay? Now, I'm going to set that in the sun and let it dry for several hours, and then we're going to spray the whole thing with lacquer. Okay, this is dried enough, so we're going to just go ahead and spray it with the lacquer. Alright, back in the sun. Alright, while we're waiting for the heat glue gun to heat up, we'll go ahead and we can put our bezel in. Look how beautiful that bezel turned out. See, by using the stain, that makes it to where it has that nice golden look to it. Alright, that is just beautiful. Okay, now to put this in, okie dokie. We take this heat glue and I just scoosh it in here now before it hardens. Very good. Okay, push it down. That looks really good. Okay? Okay. Here's our chassis that we did. And we shall slide that in. That looks so choice. Okay, very, very clean. We got our screws. I did not lose those. I don't know. Who knows? That really makes sense. If you put the big ones there, they touch that. Oh, we've got to have an antenna. Okay, this one is made to use an external antenna. So what we have to do is put a wire inside the cabinet. Okey-doke. Now, let's see.
Very clear in that one of the goals of the ACA to reduce this, it had the exact opposite effect. ER visits have gone up. Well, as we know,
That's it. Beautiful little Crosley radio. Worth about $250, $300. This one's going in my collection. I'm not selling it.